Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Chelsea versus Manchester City, opening weekend of the Premier League season. I'm absolutely buzzing for this opening Chelsea game. I'm going to be there at Stamford Bridge tomorrow. So hopefully I get to meet some of you guys like we did every single day whilst following Chelsea on the US pre-season tour. If you're also going to be buying a shirt for Chelsea this season, I've got myself a 10% off discount code for you guys. The discount code is GBFC10 and you've got to buy it using the link in the description of this video. Not only do you save yourself 10% on your purchase, and it could be anything across the mega store, but it also helps me out directly, keeping things transparent for you guys on GBFC. You saved money, I make a little bit of money if you do end up buying the shirt. So make sure you use the link in the description. Chelsea Man City. We've already seen us play Man City a couple of weeks ago. I was there in the stadium. 5 minutes into the game, it was done. Chelsea make two catastrophic errors, defensive errors, which has been a talking point of this pre-season. And later on in this video, going to build the Chelsea defence, going to build my Chelsea team. But I want to talk a little bit here about the pre-season, about the energy around it, about the weaknesses that we've seen in the Chelsea side. And then, of course, instead of being a pessimist, you guys know the outlook I like to take. I like to be optimistic until I'm not optimistic anymore. And that is usually as a result of seeing bad results, seeing bad performances. But in terms of the energy at Chelsea Football Club, when I was around pre-season, a lot of the fans are looking at Maresca as kind of an unknown entity. We're not entirely sure if the style's going to work. We're not even sure at this point, do we even like the style? If you listen to Leicester fans, who Leicester were the champions of the Championship last year, it should have been that because they had the highest wage bill. They probably had the best squad, the most talented players in the Championship. They won it. Good job. They got it done. It should have been finished a lot earlier in the season. Leicester were flying, and then towards the end of the season, they kind of they petered off. I don't know if it was, we shouldn't be in the Championship, we're basically already promoted, and then they just couldn't be bothered. Or was it Enzo Maresca's football? And if you speak to some Leicester fans, they weren't really upset. If a manager wins you the league, and you get excited, you're going back up to the Prem, I do find it odd that some Leicester fans were just like, nah, you know what, I'm glad he's gone. Because the football, they didn't enjoy the football. It was too slow, it was too pedestrian. What I think we've got here with Chelsea is not only are we a squad that is levels above what that Leicester City squad is, we've probably got significantly more talented players. We've literally hand cherry-picked their best player and put him in at Chelsea, and he's probably not even going to be starting every single match. Maybe he starts against Man City because he knows that Maresca system. And now that we're actually playing for a 3 points or a 1 point or a 0 of value, then maybe we're going to see slightly safer selections from Enzo Maresca in the early phases of this Premier League season. Having watched that Man City game though, they obviously didn't have the strongest team that they could have out. The worrying thing about that match was Chelsea had a strong side out. And to be fair, the differences were that Manchester City knew positionally exactly where they needed to be. So the fact that Chelsea's fitness looked poor, which was, I think, the main weakness that we showed, as well as being just defensively very, very average to dreadful, to be quite honest. City are more organised. We're trying to play in a similar way, but Chelsea are learning this, and we'd only literally had 3 matches prior to that City game. And Man City have been doing this under Pep Guardiola for 8 years. And I think that is the realistic element of what we should expect going into this Man City game. I think the expectation from almost every team against Man City these days when you go into the game is that you're probably going to get beat. Man City are the best team in England. They were the best team in Europe until last year when Real Madrid took the crown back. But look, this Man City team, they've been together for a very long time. They know every single thing, man to man, position to position. You can literally take out their 11 best players, put in the second best 11, but they will play the same way. And I think with the early stages here, under Enzo Maresca, not only are the results important in the sense of are we getting points on the board? Are we already chasing teams above us? Are we we don't want to be mid-table. And at worst case, we don't want to be in a dogfight near the bottom of the table to start the season. Because when you're these young players, and I said this in the previous video, I think a big ego issue that Maresca is going to have to teed out of this Chelsea squad is that just because you're a Chelsea player playing for a team that have won numerous trophies over the years, that are usually competing for the top honours, and you've got yourself a 6, 7, 8 year contract, just because that's you, it doesn't mean that when those things that you're trying to attain, and if you've got a performance incentivized contract and then all of a sudden you can't quite make it to the Champions League, it's not the time to down tools because the bonus isn't coming. I think with this Chelsea squad, as much as that might not have been necessarily the case, I think this squad need to stay motivated from the get-go. They need to be motivated because more than anything else, us fans, we don't want another season where we're not in the Champions League the following year. We don't want another season where we rely on a lot of other teams around us screwing up towards the end of the season, but we go on a 5-game win streak after 33 matches of being bang average. We don't want Chelsea this year to just turn up at the end of the season when it really, really matters. We want to turn up from day one all the way throughout the season, and I want to see consistency. That's not to say that I expect us to win every single game. That's not to say that I expect us to score 3, 4, 5 goals and blow teams away. I think I'd love to see a grind out 1-0. I'd love to see against Man City a dogfight, a tactical battle where we are up for it. Every tackle, every movement, every run, there's emphasis on it. There's impetus from the Chelsea players. That is what I expect from day one against Manchester City. I want us to go out there and Pedro Neto, new signing, right? Look at the way that this guy played against Man City last season for Wolves. One of the only players in the league that doesn't just give Man City too much respect. I think teams come to Chelsea, they sit back and they defend in numbers because they know they can frustrate Chelsea by doing that and they'll probably get a win. Sometimes when it's Manchester City, they'll score 2 or 3 early goals because they've got amazing players and an amazing system. And teams will just roll over against them. And I think Chelsea need to start creating something where not only are teams fearful against us, but we punish the fear. And that is what Chelsea were missing last season. Teams would sit back, they wouldn't really try and attack because they're a little bit scared that they can't overcommit players, and Chelsea have got dangerous players. So we'll just soak up all the pressure. And then just like a sponge, you hold the sponge in your hand and you wring it out, the water falls everywhere. Teams weren't scared of Chelsea last season. You didn't need to be. And that is another thing that I want to see this squad grow with this season. I want teams to look at the lineup and be like, they got good players, but then I want us to punish the teams that don't want to do anything against us. Similarly, the teams that do want to play football, we've got to try and match them. We've got to try and match the intensities of your Arsenals, your Liverpools. When Man City pressed us, all they did is just keep on us all the time. Punish the little moments where there's a lapse in concentration, where someone's not in the right position. And it happened too often. They scored 4 goals against us. Erling Haaland with a pre-season hat-trick. But I think it's going to be different. I think Chelsea are going to be up for this one. The Stamford Bridge crowd is going to be there. New manager, new start, no points on the board, but it's the same for everyone. And it's time to believe again. It's time to get excited. And if you guys are excited for this game, smack a like on this video for me, please. And subscribe to the George Benson football channel if you're new and haven't already done so. Without any further ado, I'm going to take a little look now through my Chelsea starting 11. I've gone with 2 11s here today because we're still learning Maresca. We're still learning who the players are going to be. Are there going to be, like I said about the Dewsbury Halls, will there be early season favourites in the name of maybe playing it a bit safe, players that know exactly what to do in the system, players that can take on board instructions? Will we see that be an early trend? Or does Enzo Maresca already know what his best starting 11 is? In the press conference, he's talking about the size of the squad, but he's currently working with 28 players, and he already knows the ones that the club are looking to sell or that aren't going to have a part to play in the first team squad this season. So that's good news for the training pitch, but we begin with the goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez. He has got to perform. If we're seeing individual errors, if we're seeing that he's not comfortable with the ball at his feet, he's going to be out of this team. because Jorgensen has been brought in to make this Chelsea team better. He's been brought in to offer direct, stable competition for Robert Sanchez. And if Sanchez screws up, he's out. And I'm going to say it now. I'm going to wipe the slate clean here for Robert Sanchez. You guys know I've not been his biggest fan. I don't think he's the best goalkeeper in the world. I don't think he is Chelsea standard. But I would absolutely love, more than anything else, for that idea that I have to be proven wrong. I saw big saves from Sanchez in pre-season. It was the Celtic game that was at the Notre Dame Stadium. The Celtic game, it was fantastic, and it could have been 8, 9, 10 for Celtic if it wasn't for Robert Sanchez. So he starts in goal. We move into a back three. I've gone Gusto, Fofana, Colwill, with Cucurella inverting. And we're going to get to those in a moment. But at the moment, we're led to believe that it's Wesley Fofana, Levi Colwill as that centre-back pairing for Chelsea. I've lined this up as a 3-2-4-1 just to emphasise the way that we're going to start building up here with Enzo Maresca. My prediction, not for the scoreline, would give that at the end of this video, but my prediction for how Chelsea try and play against City is I think we're going to gamble here. And I think gambling against City at this stage in the season isn't a bad idea. Man City quite often don't start so well, and it's after Christmas time and into the new year that they really start to pick up. So maybe this is the dream time for Chelsea to be playing against Man City. Stamford Bridge, fans are going to be absolutely behind the team, new manager, buzz, new season, all that stuff. Maybe this is the right time. So I think it's going to be a back three there. Malo Gusto is undroppable right now in the Chelsea team. I think he was one of the best players in pre-season. Marc Cucurella is partnered with Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez will be the Chelsea captain for this game because obviously Ben Chilwell's not there. Gallagher, we know he's not playing. And Reece James is also injured with a hamstring injury. So Enzo's in there. Massive game for Enzo. And it's a big start to the season that he absolutely needs to have here because, quite frankly, his space in this Chelsea team is not 100% confirmed just because he's a £100 million player. He needs to perform, needs to get better, and be consistently better at that. We move. My 2-8s for this, Caicedo and Palmer. I was thinking, do we want Caicedo to be deeper? I think Enzo, with that passing range and the vision that he has to play those little dink passes, the little through balls in tight pockets of space, is what makes Enzo better, potentially, being as an 8, but I still think he's learning that role. I think Caicedo can do more of it, and against the Man City team that often swarm you, try and suffocate you, I think having Caicedo a bit further up the field means that Man City will be slower and are less likely to get the ball to their more dangerous attacking players further up the field. Caicedo can also track back. He's got legs on him. Noni Madueke, I almost said Mudryk then. Mudryk isn't a starter for me. Nkunku and Nicholas Jackson. This is the starting 11 that I think it's going to be. But then there's also this one where Pedro Neto makes his first Chelsea start. Neto on the left. I've got Caicedo and Gusto here with Cucurella as a left centre-back. Maybe he's a bit more comfortable doing that with Gusto inverting up into that midfield role. I've dropped Caicedo a bit deeper there to protect Gusto, but Pedro Neto. I think one way or another here, this is going to be a debut for Pedro Neto to remember. I'm going to have to open the door because I'm absolutely cooking in this vehicle, filming this video. The UK's got some lovely August sunshine. I think that this is going to be a massive day for Chelsea, you know. I've got a feeling when you look at these two 11s that we've got rotated here, please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below as to what you think is going to happen here. But I've just got a little sneak feeling that Chelsea are going to win this game, you know. I think there's no Rodri. Pep Guardiola's confirmed that Rodri is out of the Manchester City team. That is massive. Not only does he score goals against us, but he's literally the anchor, he's the settings button, he makes sure everything is perfect for that City side. Are they going to be fit? Are they going to be ready? They've still got players out. I think this is the ideal time with the buzz of the crowd, new manager, new signing, Pedro Neto. There's still that, and like the hype around the potential Osimhen, Joao Felix signing right now at the club. Everyone is buzzing for this. I've got Josh Aveste messaging me a few minutes ago saying he cannot wait now for Sunday. And I'm telling you, I cannot wait as well. And I've got this weird feeling, right? You guys in America at the pre-season tour with Chelsea, we didn't get the results we wanted there. But the 3-2 scoreline was one that I heard a lot. And I've just got a little feeling here that Chelsea beat Man City on Sunday 3-2. I think it's going to be a classic football match. It was 4-4 against them at Stamford Bridge last season. And away from home, we did well as well. We drew 1-1. And I'd say we deserve to win the FA Cup semi-final too. I think we were very hard done by in that game by poor refereeing decisions. Anthony Taylor is the ref. The guy is an absolute slab of bloody cheddar cheese. The worst, probably the most boring cheese there is. He's an idiot. I don't like Anthony Taylor. He's a bad referee. He's got an agenda against Chelsea. It's true. But I still think we win. Pedro Neto is scoring the winner. He's either going to be on for the full match because he's having a blinder and he's going to score it, or he's coming off Stamford Bridge debut. It's 2-2 and Pedro Neto rounds the goalkeeper, slides it in, falls over, but it bobbles over the net and Chelsea beat Manchester City 3-2 in Enzo Maresca's first game of the season. They beat us 4-2 in pre-season. I take that, you know, to Chelsea, of course, not 4-2 to Manchester bloody City. But I think we're going to do them. I think it's 3-2 Chelsea. We win our opening game of the season and we move. This is going to be the only match I get to see now before Christmas. I'll be coming back to the UK again at Christmas. And as well as that, come in. Geez, oh my word, this woman, she's actually unreal. Look what she's done. She's picked me blackberries. Mwah. You are the best, you are. What's your score prediction?
Score prediction for tomorrow? 2-1.
2-1 Chelsea?
Yeah.
Come on. Absolutely megalodon shark-worthy prediction there from you. Anyway, how have you been? Have you missed the tour?
Yeah, I have. It's been weird being back. I feel so jet-lagged today.
You do?
Yeah.
These blackberries are unbelievable.
Yeah, have another
Anyway, I'm going to feast and I'll see you for 6 things we learn after the game. Come on, you Blues.